You're watching the Trailblazer Basketball Network. The OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network, brought to you in part by
Domino's Pizza of Circleville, located on Lancaster Pike, 740-477-2541. 740-477-2541.
Circleville Subway is a proud sponsor of the OCU Trailblazers Basketball Network. Subway, eat fresh.
Service Master Clean by Todd George. They will help you get clean and stay that way at work and at home. 740-687-1077. Fairfield Christian Academy has a K-12 program that's committed to molding young minds to have a Christian worldview while providing an education of excellence. Learn more at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.
If you're enjoying today's game, watch it again at trailblazerbasketball.tv.
We do welcome you to the Maxwell Leadership Center here on the campus of Ohio Christian University. It is Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways. Got a good Mid-East region doubleheader tonight as the Kentucky Christian University Knights and Lady Knights in town to take on your Trailblazers. Hi, everybody. It is Rick Cooper, the voice of the Trailblazers. Great to have you with us here on the OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network. The Lady Trailblazers going to try to do something tonight that hasn't been done in the past 2 years, and that's win against the KCU Lady Knights. Nobody in the NCCAA Division II has been able to knock off this basketball team since OCU did it back on January the 18th of 2011. KCU has run off 33 straight games against NCCAA Division II schools. OCU beat them at KCU on the 18th of January back in 2011, but KCU has won 6 in a row in this series, including a win back on January 15th of this year when OCU went down to Grayson and KCU beat them 76-59. Trailblazers did not do much right. Mandy Ray would tell you that afterwards. She said, we did not execute our game plan. OCU shot only 34% in the second half. KCU shot 52% in the final 20 minutes. Senior Shelby Rowe, OCU's leading scorer at nearly 15 a game, had only 6 points in that game, was really a non-factor. Freshman Asia Woodson was the only Trailblazer in double digits in that game with 16 points. Senior Kara Zwick, 11 and 7, did not play in that game, had left the team and is now back and hopefully going to be a factor today because junior Monica Stevens played as well as anybody in that basketball game, and she really dominated the post for KCU, finishing with 18 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. She shot 8 of 13 from the field. Junior Tanya Bowens, the first team All-American and National Tournament MVP, had 21 points and 4 assists. She was 8 of 12 from the field. Both of those teams, KCU and OCU, were number 2 in the country when they met back on the 15th of January. With that win, KCU now sits at number 2 all by themselves, OCU at number 3, and it is Maranatha out of Watertown, Wisconsin, that is the number 1 team in the NCCAA Division II, and I've got no dog in that fight, but I still say when you've won 6 straight national championships, you probably should still be the number 1 team in the country, but somehow, some way, people in these regions throughout the country are voting for Maranatha as the number 1 team in the country. And Ron Arnett even said to me as we prepared for these broadcasts, he said, they're a better basketball team right now. We're going to have trouble beating them. And my reply to Coach Arnett was, I'll believe it when I see it. So as long as Tanya Bowens is in this basketball game, this team for KCU, they are a big, big threat. Bowens, as good as they've come in all the history of KCU basketball, she is as good as any of them at the point, averaging 20.6 points. I've been covering KCU basketball a long, long time. I don't think Ron Arnett has ever had a player score more than 20 points per game. It's typically a lot more balanced in that 10 to 13-point range, typically is their leading scorer. So that tells you how good Bowens is, but it also says that this team isn't as deep as they've been in years past. They have, 8 girls on the roster this year. They started with 12 or 13, and so this team is beatable, but you're going to have to slow down Tanya Bowens at 20.6 points and 5.8 assists if you're going to do it. So OCU hoping to make history. Again, they're hoping to beat KCU for the first time in 2 years. Nobody Nobody has done it. The Knights have won 6 straight national championships, and they hope to send a message tonight that they are the clear-cut number 1 in this Mideast region. It is Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll check in with Mandy Ray to get her thoughts on tonight's contest. It's KCU at 14-12, 3-0 in the Mideast region, taking on your Trailblazers at 13-10, 1-1 in conference play. We'll check in with Mandy Ray coming up next here on the OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network.
I knew that attending Ohio Christian University
would prepare me for whatever lies ahead.
What I didn't know is how I would pay for my education.
I wondered how complex the process was, and if I would be eligible to receive financial aid.
Well, that's when I found the OCU Financial Aid website.
At Ohio Christian, the process is simple.
The OCU Financial Aid website provided me with the information I needed to start and complete the process. I learned how to fill out my free application for federal student aid. Soon after completing my FAFSA, an Ohio Christian Financial Aid counselor determined which aid was available for me and answered all my questions about my options.
Options like grants and work study,
student loans and scholarships.
An Ohio Christian University education is within my reach.
If you are concerned about finances, as I used to be, I encourage you to take the next step.
Fill out your FAFSA today.
For assistance, call Ohio Christian University at 1-877-7-OCU now or visit us at ohiochristian.edu.
Head coach Mandy Ray joins us on the pregame show. It's Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways as we get you set for what should be a good one between Ohio Christian and KCU, a good doubleheader. And Mandy Ray does join us now. Coach's team comes in on a winning streak, 4 in a row. How much can that help in a big game like tonight? What's the confidence level of this team coming in having won 4 straight?
I think it definitely helps. We had such a, we started the season really well, I think like at 5-2 or something like that, and then we just had a really tough stretch of games. And I think, frustration levels were high and confidence was down. And so I think the last several games, we've gotten back to focusing on what we can do well and playing together. And it's definitely should help us coming in with more confidence.
You talked candidly after the first KCU meeting. I asked you what went wrong, and you said, Rick, we didn't run our game plan, and in particular, the half-court offense seemed to struggle. What do you do differently tonight to execute better in the half-court sets?
I think, we just have to keep emphasizing playing together and making their defense work. If we don't have anything easy in transition, making sure we get into our offense and not just go down and take a quick shot, which is what we did the first time. So that, and I think our defense was really what we have emphasized a lot this week, getting ready.
One player that struggled, just didn't get a lot of opportunities, was Shelby. We talked about her 6 points in that game wasn't really a factor. Is there anything you can do as a coach to kind of jumpstart her tonight?
We've just been trying to encourage her and pump her up. And, sometimes when she misses her first couple shots or that sort of thing, she can get down. So just giving her, letting her know that we have confidence in her and that, we know we're confident that she can score and that she can do some things. Sometimes can kind of put her on the right track and get her going.
On the defensive side, you mentioned that a minute ago. Bowens had a Bowens-like game with 21 and 4 assists, but it was junior Monica Stevens that really seemed to hurt you underneath. 18 and 7, gave Olivia some trouble with her size. How do you try to slow her down? What do you do differently tonight?
We just need to make it more difficult for her to get the ball. Obviously she has size that maybe we don't have, but we just kind of let her catch it. Our guards didn't pressure their guards at all and make it difficult for them to see in, to give her the ball. Our help side defense was non-existent last game. So, a combination of those things, putting more pressure on their guards, having better help side on the back side, and, our post players just working a little bit harder at staying active and not getting into a, physical, like trying to fight for position with her, but more staying active, not letting her feel them, playing them and keeping her guessing of where they are so that she can't just feel and have position and go to work.
Do you front her the whole night?
No, we're not going to front her the whole time. We're gonna start with Ritz on her today instead of Olivia. I think having Kara in there will give us some more size to feels confident and has played well against her in the past. So I think having a different combination of different people to throw at her, and stay moving, and a big part of it's going to be our guards being more active on the wing, not letting them see in to get the ball to her, and also help side.
As you looked at the tape, you've got one in the books against these guys. Where do you hope to have an advantage tonight? What can you exploit, hopefully?
I think our depth. We need to run and keep the game moving. I think they had all the energy and had all the momentum last game. So we need to come out ready to go and keep fresh legs going in on them.
Any other keys you're going to stress to the girls?
Nope. Defense.
Defense.
Yep.
Coach, good luck. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you at halftime of the boys' game.
All right, thank you.
That's Mandy Ray, the head coach of the Lady Trailblazers, here on the pregame show. It's Tuesday Night Hoops, presented by the Circleville Subways. We'll take a break and meet tonight's starting lineups. Coming up next, this is the Ohio Christian University Trailblazer Basketball Network.
You're watching the Trailblazer Basketball Network. The OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network, brought to you in part by
Domino's Pizza of Circleville, located on Lancaster Pike, 740-477-2541. 740-477-2541.
Circleville Subway is a proud sponsor of the OCU Trailblazers Basketball Network. Subway, eat fresh.
Service Master Clean by Todd George. They will help you get clean and stay that way at work and at home. 740-687-1077. Fairfield Christian Academy has a K-12 program that's committed to molding young minds to have a Christian worldview while providing an education of excellence. Learn more at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.
If you're enjoying today's game, watch it again at trailblazerbasketball.tv.
Just about set for the opening tip. They'll have an opening national anthem and prayer. And while they do that, why don't we step aside for one more 60-second timeout. We'll meet tonight's starting lineups coming up soon. It's KCU at 14-12, OCU at 13-10, the number 2 and number 3 ranked teams in America. And you'll see it next here on the OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network.
Eat fresh. Please stand for a word of opening prayer. And remain standing for the following play of our national anthem.
I knew that attending Ohio Christian University
would prepare me for whatever lies ahead.
What I didn't know is how I would pay for my education.
I wondered how complex the process was, and if I would be eligible to receive financial aid.
Well, that's when I found the OCU financial aid website.
At Ohio Christian, the process is simple.
The OCU Financial Aid website provided me with the information I needed to start and complete the process. I learned how to fill out my free application for federal student aid. Soon after completing my FAFSA, an Ohio Christian Financial Aid counselor determined which aid was available for me and answered all my questions about my options.
Options like grants and work study,
Student loans and scholarships.
An Ohio Christian University education is within my reach.
If you are concerned about finances, as I used to be, I encourage you to take the next step.
Fill out your FAFSA today.
For assistance, call Ohio Christian University at 1-877-7-OCU now or visit us at ohiochristian.edu.
You're watching the Trailblazer Basketball Network. The OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network, brought to you in part by
Domino's Pizza of Circleville, located on Lancaster Pike, 740-477-2541. 740-477-2541.
Circleville Subway is a proud sponsor of the OCU Trailblazers Basketball Network. Subway, eat fresh.
Service Master Clean by Todd George. They will help you get clean and stay that way at work and at home. 740-687-1077. Fairfield Christian Academy has a K through 12 program that's committed to molding young minds to have a Christian worldview while providing an education of excellence. Learn more at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.
If you're enjoying today's game, watch it again at trailblazerbasketball.tv.
Let's meet the starting lineups for both of these teams. First of all, for KCU, the point guard is 5'6" junior Tanya Bowens. We talked about her in the pregame, 20.6 points and a team best 5.8 assists. Rachel Chester is the two guard, 5'4" senior from Louisville, Kentucky. Juggling college basketball and student teaching right now, still averaging 5.3 points and 2.3 assists. The small forward tonight is Jessica Marshall, 5'11" junior from East Carter High School right in Grayson, 7.6 points and 6 rebounds. She does turn it over a team high 2.8 times per game. The power forward is OCU transfer Sharonda Jones, 5'7" junior from Pompano Beach, Florida. She was the OCU leading scorer a season ago, averages 11.9 points and 6.7 rebounds for Ron Arnett. And the man in the middle is Monica Stevens, West Carter High School, 5'11" junior from Olive Hill, 10.9 points and a team best 8.5 rebounds. She's also shooting a team best 59% from the field. She was a big problem on the 15th of January down in Grayson. The head coach in his 22nd season is Ron Arnett, 7-time National Coach of the Year, 571 wins, 172 losses, a 77% winning percentage. He has a 97% winning percentage against NCCAA Division II schools. He is assisted tonight by my friend, former national champion Heather Stacy. For OCU, the point guard tonight will be Tiaja Smith, 5'4" freshman from Gahanna Lincoln High School, averaging 4 points and a team best 3.2 assists. She's also team high in steals, 2.2 steals per game. Asia Woodson, the freshman two guard out of Toledo Bousher High School, leading scorer on this team, 14.9 points per game. Small forward tonight is Shelby Rowe, back after some knee issues. A 5'8" senior from Middletown, Ohio, 14.3 points and 3.2 rebounds. She is averaging 35%, or shooting 35% from behind the arc. Maritza will get the start. The sophomore from Columbus will start at the power forward tonight, 5'9". She'll wear number 33. Will averaging 6 points and 6 rebounds while shooting 41% from the floor. And Olivia Davis, the 5'11" freshman from Central Crossing High School, where she was the OCC Central Division Conference Player of the Year, playing her 18th game of the year tonight, is Olivia Davis, averaging 8.6 points and a team best 8.5 rebounds. The head coach in her 7th season is Mandy Ray, 105 wins, 95 losses. She wins at a clip of 53%. She's assisted by Brenda Baker, second all-time leading scorer here at OCU. Was Mrs. Brenda Baker. So your referee for tonight's game is Bruce Morris. The umpires are James Marable and Matt Bolster. Trailblazers will wear white in the white uniforms with the blue numbers. KCU, the visiting black with the white numbers. Trailblazers will move left to right here in this opening half. So just about set to get underway. Second meeting of the year between these two teams, and they will likely meet again in the Mid-East region final, barring some kind of disaster, and will probably play here in the national tournament as well. Trailblazers win the opening tip, and Woodson, a quick shot left side, is no good. Rebound KCU. Bowen straight to the rim and put it up and in. Nobody stopped basketball, and Bowens looked like a man on the mission right there and went right to the basket and kissed it off the glass. KCU with some pressure. Rowe to the other end. Left-handed scoop shot, no good. Maritza Will, an offensive rebound, and she dropped it in. First two for the sophomore from Franklin Heights High School, and we are tied at 2 with 19:25 to play here in the first half. Across the timeline to the left wing, and Sharonda Jones. Jones to Bowens. They're looking underneath for Monica Stevens, who, again, dominated the OCU front line in that first meeting. And Mandy Ray going to dial up a little more ball pressure on the perimeter, and among other things, to try to slow her down. 3 no good there, and a good box out on Stevens by Maritza Will. Will to Tiaja Smith, the freshman point guard. Right side Rowe got a good look at a 3, grazed the front of the rim, and a flat-footed rebound into the hands of the OCU transfer, Sharonda Jones. One of the other things they're going to try to do with Stevens, Mandy Ray talked about it pregame, is they're not going to let her lean on the OCU defender. They want to move around and make it harder for her to seal down there underneath. She sealed easily there. They come over and help, though, and Shelby Rowe slapped it loose. Dialed up a little double team there on Stevens, and they took it away. Tied at 2, 18-20 to play first half. Rick Cooper and JT Burcham, Fairfield Media, Caleb Peters, and a couple Burcham boys here tonight bringing you all the action. And right side, Shelby Rowe just hit a 3, but shuffled to feet before she raised up and tripled there. So appreciate the Burcham boys and Caleb Peters. Home game tonight for Fairfield Christian, where most of those kids go to school. Would have been real easy to go over there and stayed here to help run cameras and bring you OCU basketball. Left wing, it's Tanya Bowens. Bowens back out to Jessica Marshall, local girl from East Carter, now to Rachel Chester, who was the backup point guard a season ago and has moved into the 2-guard spot here this season. And Marshall just threw it away. Intercepted by OCU. Tiaja Smith to the other end, but could not finish. Will tried to run it down, and good hustle by Will to save it into Rowe. Back to Will, left baseline. Shows jumper, back out to Woodson. Picked up by Chester. Nice little Hardaway crossover. Goes right baseline to Woodson, and she took an extra step, and a traveling violation is going to give it back to KCU. 17:38 to play first half. We are tied at 2 from the Maxwell Leadership Center, named in honor of John Maxwell, the best-selling motivational author, speaker that will be here with Cal Thomas for an event later in the spring. 17:30 to play. Still tied at 2, so a slow going first half for both of these teams. Again, Stevens seals this time and went to the left hand and could not finish. Rebound OCU. Smith will set things up to the right wing at Shelby Rowe. The long arms of Jessica Marshall will give her problems underneath. Woodson out to Davis, now to Tiaja Smith. Here's Will underneath, tried a little step through. Sharonda Jones held her ground. Davis a 3, and she hit it. Monica Stevens just helped ever so slightly, and it gave Olivia Davis just enough room to raise up and triple top of the key. It's 5-2, OCU by 3, 16:45 to play here in the first half. Jones with it left wing, now to Jessica Marshall. Shelby Rowe extending her defensive pressure. Gets it back out to Chester, does Jessica Marshall. Around the horn to Bowens, off a screen. Bowens into the lane, had it slapped out of her hands, and it's taken away by Asia Woodson. OCU off to a much better start in this one than on the 15th of January, and Ron Arnett going to bring a sub in. There's Jessica Marshall with a deflection, and it's a 2-on-1 break. Jones into the lane, put it up on the rim and in. Jones was very methodical, was not in any hurry there, was waiting to see if the OCU defender was going to stop basketball, and when they continued to backpedal, Sharonda went right to the rim and dropped it in. Shelby Rowe just got called for a double dribble. That'll give it back to KCU. Sharonda Jones will sit down as Jana Glick will check in. 5'11 sophomore from Massillon, Ohio. What a luxury she has been. Ron Arnett says she's like another starter. She's averaging 7.7 points, 7.2 rebounds, and shooting a team best 54% from the field, and she's coming off the bench. Underneath Stevens, working against Will. This time got a good look on a left-handed scoop. Shot was no good, but they're going to get a hold on Maritza Will. And so Maritza got away with one. OCU got away with one as they allowed Stevens to catch it in a very good spot. And Monica not going to miss very many of those. First on Will, first on the team. Bowens off a screen right side, and that shot was blocked out of bounds. It'll stay with KCU. 25 on the shot clock, 15:40 to play first half. Mid-East region battle. 3 teams in this region this year, Johnson being the other. Both of these teams have taken care of Johnson as Marshall fires a 3, no good. Stevens a rebound. Here's Bowens, and she sure did travel. Took an extra step before she could raise up and shoot that one, and it'll go back to OCU. Johnson trying to rebuild what was once a decent women's program, and both KCU and OCU have beat them this year, but what has been about a 40 or 50 point whooping is down to about 20 this year. So they're making some strides down in Knoxville. Woodson's 3 no good, but it was slapped out of bounds off of one of the Lady Knights. It'll stay with the Trailblazers. So the way it'll work, looking ahead at that Mideast Region tournament, the number 1 seed in this tournament on the women's side will not play until the regional championship game at 1 o'clock on Saturday. The 2 seed, which right now it looks like it would be OCU, as KCU has already won the first meeting, and a foul is charged here to Asia Woodson. It's her first, team second. The way it would work is OCU and Johnson would play at 6 p.m. on that Friday night, the 21st of February, I believe it is, or 22nd. And KCU would await the winner of that game at 1 p.m. here in the Leadership Center. Entire Mideast Region tournament will be here in Circleville, but with only 3 teams, the number 1 seed has the luxury of not having to play till Saturday. Jumper left baseline is no good. Rebound OCU. Quick outlet to Woodson. Woodson's got the step into the lane. Shot blocked, but Monica Stevens got her with some body. And 121, fouls another 21, and Asia Woodson's going to go to the free throw line and shoot 2. The foul is on 21, Monica Stevens. It's her first and the team first, as Asia Woodson to the line and connects on the first. Woodson is OCU's leading scorer, averaging 14.9 points per game. Chelsea Black at the table, but she must be coming in for Woodson as she stays after that first free throw that dropped in. OCU 65% as a team, and the second one is no good. Maritza will make that. Olivia Davis nearly saved it in bounds, but it went off of Davis, out of bounds, back to KCU, and that stoppage allows the 5'5 junior from St. Paris, Ohio, Chelsea Black, to check in. Asia Woodson sits down with a point. Black coming off the bench, averaging 5 points and 3.3 rebounds, and comes in and immediately slaps one out of bounds. It'll stay with KCU. Bowens to inbound, does so to Marshall, who hands it right back off to the point guard Bowens. Into the lane, dropped it off to Stevens and put it in. The dribble drive sets up Monica Stevens for her first 2, and it's tied at 6 with 14:30 to play first half. Shelby Rowe left side, cross-court pass to Tiaja Smith out of Gahanna Lincoln High School. Left wing Shelby Rowe, left baseline Black, and they're going to say that she shuffled her right foot, her pivot foot, and that's going to give it back to KCU. OCU with Tiaja Smith, Shelby Rowe, Maritza Will, Olivia Davis, and Chelsea Black on the floor right now. Bowens, Glick, Chester, Stevens, and Marshall. Ron Arnett with only 8 players in uniform as Glick got free again via the dribble drive from Tanya Bowens. 2 quick assists for her, and KCU has taken an 8-6 advantage. So Arnett not very deep this year with only 8 girls in uniform. 8-6, right side it's Olivia Davis. Left of center, it's Black underneath to Will. Nice step through. Could she finish? No. Stevens altered it enough. It ends up in the hands of Marshall. Marshall to Bowens, who will slow things out on the right wing. Back to Chester to the left wing, Marshall. Here's a touch off the left block for Stevens, who's immediately double-teamed, and it forces another turnover. So they have changed the focus, how they're going to handle Stevens, and Sharonda Jones coming to the table. Probably for Stevens, who has had some trouble against that OCU double team. Right side, Chester off the drive from Bowens. 15-footer is right there. First 2 for the senior from Louisville, Kentucky. We talked about a pregame student teaching this semester, and Ron Arnett saying that's taken its toll on Rachel Chester. She's missed some games because of that student teaching commitment, and doing the best she can. Right wing, it's Rowe. Her 3 no good, and rebound is taken away by Jana Glick, who's looking for a guard. Glick to Chester across the timeline with 12:40 to play in the first half. KCU with their biggest lead to this point. It's 10-6. Marshall, pass deflected, ends up in the hands of Bowens. Bowens double teamed and nearly taken away, and it is. It's taken away by Shelby Rowe. Rowe into the lane, a lot of contact, no call. Will picked it up and dropped it in. Second field goal for Maritza Will. The only thing that would have been better is if Stevens could have picked up a second. At the other end, Jana Glick off the window and in. And a timeout has been called, I believe, by Mandy Ray. It's a 30-second timeout with 12:10 to play here in the first half. If you're hungry right now, try Domino's handmade pan pizza with 2 layers of cheese, toppings to the edge, and a crust made from fresh dough. It's a medium 2-topping pan pizza, and it's only $7.99 at Domino's Pizza, 207 Lancaster Pike in Circleville. Call 740-477-2541. It is Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways, and a new promotion that started, just 4 days ago. They're calling it the February Special at the Circleville Subways. It's the biggest footlong event of the year. They've got plenty of footlongs that are $5, several that are $6 as well. Again, it's what they're calling instead of February, the February Special at the Circleville Subways. Subway, eat fresh. 12:08 to play first half, 12-8 Lady Knights. Olivia Davis back to Black on the left wing. Kara Zwick has checked in for OCU. Zwick underneath to Shelby Rowe. Double team. They're trying to raise up over Glick, who blocked her shot, took it away, and gets it out to Bowens. Bowens looking to run. It's a 2-on-2 advantage. Bowens quickly to Jones. Back underneath to Marshall. Lost the basketball. Ends up in the hands of Glick. Little jump hook is no good. And Tiaja Smith, the defensive rebound. Smith to Chelsea Black. Black over to Tiaja Smith, right side. To Davis. Back to Chelsea Black, the junior from St. Paris, Ohio, will set things up with Tiaja Smith off a screen from Davis to the left wing. Black open for 3. On the rim, no good. Kara Zwick, an offensive rebound, and she put it in. How nice is it going to be to have Kara Zwick back for this stretch run, and how big is it going to be to have her here tonight? She was not in that initial game against KCU, and a big key for this team is Kara Zwick, and Chelsea Black just carried the basketball over on the left wing. So it's a turnover right back to KCU. Couple subs for the Trailblazers. Back in is Asia Woodson with a point, and first appearance tonight for number 10, Caitlin Danner, the 5'7" freshman from Waynesville, Ohio. 3 points and 2.9 rebounds in 14 games after finishing her season with the OCU soccer team. As Shelby Rose sits down, so does Tiaja Smith, and a turnover there as some miscommunication. Marshall was coming off a screen to the middle of the floor, and they threw it outside her outstretched hand, which is saying something as long as Jessica Marshall is, and it's a turnover back to OCU. Trailblazers an opportunity to get within, to tie it or take the lead here as they trail by 2. Underneath, a lot of contact as Danner tried to raise up, at her shot blocked, and it's taken away by Jessica Marshall. Caitlin Meyer has checked in, 5'3" sophomore from Brooksville, Kentucky, wears number 13, and is on the left wing right now for KCU. Right block, Jones, and that's a turnover there as Marshall made a pass. Ron Arnett not happy with Jessica Marshall as Jones was double teamed underneath, and why you're making that pass is the question that Ron Arnett is posing to Jessica Marshall right now. 12:10 to play, 12-10. OCU trailing by 2 as we go under 10 minutes to play here in the first half. Danner, left wing, and again, the length of Marshall keeps her from being able to make that pass underneath. It goes right out of bounds. So I want to beat a dead horse, but Marshall, one of those players like they had, Green a year ago, right? From Florida for KCU, just a long, athletic player that can cause problems. Here's another athlete as Davis gets a rebound, but cannot finish underneath, and Sharonda Jones the rebound. Jones to Rachel Chester across the timeline. Chester goes right wing to Meyer. Back to Jones. Right elbow jumper is absolutely perfect. Second field goal for Sharonda Jones, and OCU trails now by 4. It's 14-10. And that pass deflected by Asia Woodson. Chester going to pick it up and go uncontested for 2 more. 16-10, KCU. The lead is 6 with 9:10 to play here in the first half. Woodson left wing looking for Zwick, who's all the way out near that left elbow where she caught it. Now to Zwick, right of center, right baseline. It's Olivia Davis who shows jumper and then goes to the rim. Drops it off to Danner. Back out to Black. Left side Woodson. 7 on the shot clock. Her 3 no good, and battling for the rebound that ends up in the hands of Caitlin Meyer, the sophomore from Brooksville, Kentucky. Meyer to the right wing and Marshall. Back out to Meyer, who, with no Tanya Bowens on the floor right now, looks like she's going to kind of run things with a little help from Chester. Chester nearly threw it away, and she did. Was under some duress and tried to get rid of it and threw it into the hands of one of the Trailblazers. Woodson at the other end. Shot no good, but she was fouled by Sharonda Jones. It's number 1 on Jones, number 2 on the team. And Asia Woodson, the 5'5 freshman, will go to the line where she split a pair a few moments ago, and will get 2 here with 8:25 to play in the first half. The first one is up and in. So Woodson with 2. Substitutions come in for both teams. Bowens is back for KCU. First appearance tonight for Kelsey Pugh, the 5'8 sophomore from Falmouth, Kentucky, that is giving Ron Arnett 5.5 points and 3.4 rebounds. Second free throw is good again for Woodson, so give her 3. Tiaja Smith back in for the Trailblazers, 16-12. As we near 8 minutes to play, and Bowens just had it taken away. Tiaja Smith to the other end, and she put it in. Ron Arnett asking for a cleanup here on a wet spot that may have forced that turnover, and now Matt Balster going to honor that request and stop play to clean up that wet spot on the KCU side of the floor here with 8:02 to play first half. And Tiaja Smith, Danner, Will, Zwick, and Woodson on the floor for OCU. Bowens, Pugh, Glick, Jones, and Meyer on the floor for the KCU Lady Knights. Glick nearly lost it off the foot of Zwick. Bowens ends up with it. Bowens near the right elbow. Left elbow, Jones. Jumper, no good. Offensive rebound underneath the basket by Pugh. Her putback was too strong. And a flat-footed rebound for Caitlin Danner. Danner to Woodson. It's 2-on-3. It doesn't matter. She put it in, but they're going to call an offensive foul as Sharonda Jones met her near the left block and drew the player control foul on Asia Woodson. And that is number 2 on Asia Woodson. If my memory serves me right, I think Woodson got into some foul trouble in Grayson as well. And as deep as OCU is, they can ill afford to have their leading scorer plagued by fouls. Underneath, Bowens up close, no good. Bowens got it again. She put it in, and she was fouled. Bucket is good for the All-American Tanya Bowens. They're going to charge the foul to Caitlin Danner, and it's going to be her first, team 4th. Tanya Bowens with her second field goal of the game, and KCU will shoot their first free throw here. The Lady Knights 71%. And the free throw, no good. Hit the front of the rim, rebound Maritza Will. Right side, Tiaja Smith, Zwick running to the basket. Hit her in stride, but could not finish. Beautiful pass from Tiaja Smith, and Zwick ran the floor well, did everything but drop it in. 18-14, under 7 minutes to play first half, and Meyer had some trouble getting it to Jones. Jones cross court to Bowens, firing a 3, missed everything. Rebound into the hands of Kara Zwick. So Bowens has had a lot more trouble today shooting it, controlling the basketball than she did in Grayson 3 weeks ago. And Shelby Rowe, a good sign in the books with her first 2, has been battling some knee issues and has had her troubles against this KCU team. And only 6 points in Grayson 3 weeks ago. And there's a steal as Jones threw it right into the hands of Danner. Bowen's going to try to run her down. Danner, little step through, put it on the rim, no good. Will had it. Smith ends up with it, and a foul is going to be charged on one of the Lady Knights. It's going to be 22, Jana Glick. Foul on Glick is her first, team 3rd, as Monica Stevens going to check in, but not before Ron Arnett can call a full timeout. 6:08 to play here in the first half. It's Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways. Trailblazers trail by only 2. It's 18-16. You're listening to OCU Lady Trailblazer Basketball here on the OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network.
One more piece of giveaway, fans. It doesn't take any time to get over there. Convince him that you want some pizza. I know, broke college students, you need some pizza.
6:08 to play here in the first half. OCU trailing by 2. They'll have the basketball coming out of this timeout. It's 18-16. On the floor right now, Caitlin Danner, Shelby Rowe, Maritza Will, Kara Zwick, and one more Trailblazer TBD. It's going to be Tiaja Smith, the freshman from Gahanna Lincoln. Her alma mater going to square off against the Groveport Cruisers in the first round of the OCC, or the playoffs, I should say. That district draw just took place on Sunday. Rowe coming off a screen, and she hit it. Shelby Rowe with 5, and OCU takes the lead. It's 19-18. 5:53 to play, first half. Bowens, left side, Jones. Jumper from the free throw line, no good. And Kara Zwick, a good rebound. Good box out, and Sharonda Jones just picked up a loose ball foul, and that is number 2 on the junior from Pompano Beach, Florida. So good box out. Lady Trailblazers a lot more aggressive. They are physical and really doing a nice job underneath the basket here in the first 15 minutes. They lead 19-18, going to try to extend it here as Tiaja Smith will walk it across the timeline and set things up left wing with senior Shelby Rowe, OCU's all-time leading scorer that was recently named the NCCAA Division II Women's Basketball Player of the Week. Danner's runner in the lane, no. Stevens, a rebound, who gets it out to Bowens. 2-on-2 break. Bowens looking to get to the rim and could not finish, but Kara Zwick got her on the arm, and Bowens will shoot 2. Foul on Zwick is her first, team 5th, and Tanya Bowens with 4 points in this game, a 72% free throw shooter, will get 2 here. Missed one earlier on a 3-point opportunity, and this one is short as well. We said KCU 71% as a team. Bowens 5th best on this team with a 72% shooting percentage. 87 out of 121, and Tiaja Smith needs a little extra attention here from the OCU trainer, and James Marable saying let's start the clock here in terms of you get a certain amount of time to tend to the athlete, and Tiaja Smith tended to and ready to stay in the game. So one more for Tanya Bowens, has been named the national tournament MVP each of the past 2 seasons, and she connects on a free throw here. 5 for Bowens. We're tied at 19. Right baseline, Rowe for 3. She hit again. So Shelby Rowe with an 8-point first half. And OCU has taken a 22-19 advantage as we have 5 minutes exactly to play in the first half. Left wing, it's Pugh. Pugh into the lane, off balance, out of control, and that pass was way too close to Stevens to try to complete. Taken away by OCU. Danner's 3, backside of the iron, no good. Zwick able to save it in bounds to Tiaja Smith. Back to Danner. Danner double team. Here's Rowe, 4-3. Got another one! Shelby Rowe with 2 quick threes. And OCU has taken a 25-19 advantage with 4:27 to play. And Danner out there to hound Chester as she was taking her time looking at Ron Arnett for instructions. Pugh into the lane. Pugh to the right wing. Ball slapped away, and it's taken away by Zwick. Long baseball pass to Rowe. Rowe over Bowen. She hit again. 13 for Shelby Rowe, and the OCU fans beginning to dance and cheer as KCU trailing by 8, 27-19. Bowens at the other end quiets the crowd with a 6-foot runner. 7 for Tanya Bowens, 27-21. Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways. Great to have you with us. Rowe, another 3, in and out this time. Zwick had a hand on the rebound, and they're going to call a loose ball foul. I don't like that call. It's an easy one to make in the sense that she jumped up over the KCU Lady Knight, but my problem with the call is when a player who jumps over the defender doesn't make contact. It's not a foul if there's not contact, but Zwick looked like she committed a foul by the way she jumped over Monica Stevens, and it's a big call because it's number 2 on Kara Zwick, who has played well in this first half. Bowens to the left wing. Marshall to try to answer with three, and she does. So Jessica Marshall, a 35% three-point shooter, has hit the most threes on this team, coming in with 41 of them. Connects on her first field goal of the game. It's 27-24. Danner underneath against Bowens. Put it up on the rim, no good from up close. The rebound into the hands of Marshall. Bowens, the thoroughbred, looking to run again. We'll bring it back out right side now. Goes to Marshall for three, and she's hit two in a row. So she matches Shelby Rowe and ties this game at 27. 2:45 to play first half. Tiaja Smith between the circles. Left wing, it's Shelby Rowe. Rowe back out to Danner around the horn of the right side, and Tiaja Smith. Smith looking underneath, instead goes to Davis. Back to Tiaja Smith. Shot clock is in single digits. It's down to 7. Rowe looking to work against Chester. Shot clock is at 3. Down to 2. Rowe to beat the horn, hit the rim on the run. No good, but the rebound into the hands of Jessica Marshall for KCU. So KCU with a chance to regain the lead after OCU had gone up 8. Underneath Stevens, double team. They're going to get it out of her hands, into the hands of Glick. Little 6-footer that didn't look necessarily very pretty, but somehow Karam just the right way if you're a KCU fan, and it dropped in. Rowe to the left baseline, and Will backing down Stevens. Tried a little step through, and Monica Stevens would not budge. Held her ground, and ends up a turnover back to the Lady Knights. 29-27, $1:40 to play in the first half, and a reach in right in front of Mandy Ray in the OCU bench, and they're going to call a foul on Olivia Davis, who got a whole heck of a lot of Wilson as well. Foul on Olivia Davis is her first and the team 7th. Substitutions, Danner and Rose sit down as Chelsea Black and Asia Woodson are back in. So Mandy Ray talked about her depth in the pregame interview today. She also mentioned it in that January 15th pregame interview, and today it has seemed to be more effective than it was 3 weeks ago. They are bringing people in more, and with only 8 players in uniform for KCU, you got to believe that could be a factor in this basketball game. So 1-and-1 opportunity is no good. The lead stays at 2 with 90 seconds to play in the first half. Cross-court pass from Davis to Bechtel, who checked in, and she hit a 3. The three-point specialist from Worthington Kilbourne came off the bench and immediately fired a triple. 30-29, minute 15 to play in the half. Chester, a free throw line jumper on the rim, no good. And Bechtel doing more than hitting threes. She snagged the defensive rebound there. Black to the left wing. Bechtel going to shoot a long line drive 3, no good. Davis tried to keep it alive, but it ends up in the hands of Marshall. Marshall to Bowens. Bowens into the lane. Offensive foul. Bechtel knew it was coming. Bowens wanted to get to the rim. And Ron Arnett saying she slid over, and he is having a word from a considerable distance with James Marable. It's an offensive foul on Tanya Bowens. It's her first and the team 5th. I thought it was the right call. I thought Bechtel did a nice job anticipating. You got to believe Bowens wants to get to the rim in transition, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, whatever. She's looking to get to the basket, and Bechtel did a nice job beating her to the spot. Runner by Woodson at the other end is no good, and it'll go out of bounds back to KCU. And now Ron Arnett having a quiet conversation with James Marable, and Marable leaves with a smile on his face, and apparently there was a loose ball foul at the other end that I did not see called. It's going to be on Olivia Davis. It's her 2nd and the team's 8th. So now Woodson, Davis, and Zwick all with 2 fouls apiece for OCU. Sharonda Jones with 2 for KCU, and the first free throw by Monica Stevens is up and in. And so Stevens with 3 points in this first half. Shawan Gadsden has checked in for OCU, the freshman from Richmond, Virginia, averaging 4 points and 4.8 rebounds. Davis will sit down with those 2 fouls. Second free throw by Stevens is no good. It's 30-30 with 30 seconds to play in the opening half. About a 7-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Black on the left wing. Left baseline, it's Bechtel. Back out to Chelsea Black. Cross court to Gadsden. Here's Smith on that right baseline. Got the step and put it in. Went right by Rachel Chester. Went right to the rim. The help defense was a day late and $1 short. 32-30 with 8 seconds to play in the first half. Bowens underneath and nearly threw it away again. Was in a little bit of trouble trying to improvise and make something happen. Shelby Rowe coming in with 3.3 left. For defensive purposes, we'll see who she's coming in for. Going to get Asia Woodson out of the game, who also is playing with 2 fouls. Marshall to Bowens to beat the buzzer. Hit the side of the rim, no good. And OCU is going to go into the half with a 32-30 halftime lead. So a much different story than January the 15th. So 32-30, OCU by 2 here at halftime. It's Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways, and we have a good one tonight in the Maxwell Leadership Center. Coming up, the halftime show. We'll take a look at the first half numbers. We'll give you a quick preview of the second game of our doubleheader between the OCU and KCU men. All that is coming up after this 2-minute timeout here on the Ohio Christian University Trailblazer Basketball Network.
You're watching the Trailblazer Basketball Network. The OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network, brought to you in part by
Domino's Pizza of Circleville, located on Lancaster Pike. 740-477-2541. 740-477-2541.
Circleville Subway is a proud sponsor of the OCU Trailblazers Basketball Network. Subway, eat fresh.
Service Master Clean by Todd George. They will help you get clean and stay that way at work and at home. 740-687-1077. Fairfield Christian Academy has a K-12 program that's committed to molding young minds to have a Christian worldview while providing an education of excellence. Learn more at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.
If you're enjoying today's game, watch it again at trailblazerbasketball.tv.
Well, obtaining a college degree is important to me because I'm a single mother. I work full-time and I want a better life for me and my son, and I realize I'm the only one that can do that.
I needed the convenience of being able to work full-time, as well as still get my bachelor's degree in psychology, as well as be a part of a family and be a wife.
Obtaining a college degree to me means that I can further my career in getting a better job, as well as meeting my end goal, which would be to become a professor someday.
Here at Ohio Christian University, we offer programs in a convenient format to help serve the adult that might not have time to go to school during the day or take classes multiple days during the week. We offer classes one night a week. You take one class at a time, either in an on-site format, or if you prefer online, we offer online classes just the same, one class at a time.
The AGS program is set up to where it's very convenient for me as a working adult to be able to still obtain my bachelor's degree.
The flexibility is very good with the AGS program. I can do my homework whenever I have time, whether it's at night or if I'm up early in the morning, I can do it at that time. And really you can work a full-time job and go to school full-time at the same time. So convenience is one of the greater advantages to the AGS program.
The sky is the limit with the flexibility at Ohio Christian University.
You have the option to attend class at one of our 12 locations, and you can choose whichever is most convenient, closest to your home or closest to your workplace. If that doesn't work for you, you also have the option to take class online without ever having to step foot into a classroom. One other neat aspect is that you only have to register for all of your classes one time. There's no standing in line and no additional waiting.
We invite you to attend Ohio Christian University.
Back here in the Maxwell Leadership Center, we are at halftime, and OCU with a lead, 32-30. The Trailblazers come in winners of 4 in a row, and you can just see there's a different mentality, a different confidence level of this basketball team right now. They came in playing pretty well, and they came in with a different game plan tonight as well, and they are not going to allow Monica Stevens to beat him. They are sending double teams at her, and they have given her all kinds of problems, and they've done a real nice job on Tanya Bowens as well. She's got 7 points in that first half, but several turnovers. She has not handled the OCU defensive schemes tonight very well either. It is Tuesday Night Hoops in this building, presented by the Circleville Subways. They have sponsored our Tuesday night broadcasts all season long, and the biggest footlong event of the year is in full swing right now at the Circleville Subways. Many footlongs are just $5. There's plenty of $6 footlong specials as well. It is the February special at the Circleville Subways. Subway, eat fresh, and we say thanks to Jonna Thompson and all the crew at the Circleville Subways in Circleville for their continued support of Ohio Christian University athletics. Taking a look at some of the scoring numbers in this first half. 13 points for Shelby Rowe. That is a game high 13 points in that first half. Shelby Rowe, 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 6 on threes. Played very, very well. 13 points and 2 steals for Shelby Rowe in 15 minutes of action tonight. Tiaja Smith and Maritza Will had 4 points apiece. Tiaja Smith, 2 of 4 from the field, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and 4 points for Maritza Will. She was 2 of 3 from the field, so 4 points and 4 rebounds for the sophomore from Franklin Heights, Ohio, Maritza Will. Asia Woodson had 3. Sarah Bechtel had a big 3 late in that first half. Olivia Davis with 3, and Kara Zwick with 2 points in the first 20 minutes. KCU, or OCU, I beg your pardon, 3 of 4 from the charity stripe for 75%. For KCU, Tanya Bowens, the 2-time national tournament MVP, had 7 in the first 20 minutes. Jessica Marshall and Jana Glick added 6. I will tell you that Bowens, 3 of 9 from the field right now, 0 of 1 from three-point range, 7 points, 2 rebounds. She did dish out 6 assists, but she also turned it over 4 times, so has done a nice job in spurts. But again, that OCU pressure has gotten to the All-American Tanya Bowens a little bit. 6 apiece for Glick and Marshall. Glick was a nice spark off the bench, 3 of 4 shooting, 6 points and a couple rebounds for Jana Glick. And Jessica Marshall, 2 of 3 on threes. She already has 5 rebounds in this first half and 3 steals for Jessica Marshall. They have her for 2 turnovers as well. She has at least 2 turnovers. They have gotten into her and caused some problems with the defensive pressure in this first half as well. Sharonda Jones, 4 points. Rachel Chester with 4. And Monica Stevens with a very quiet first half. Only 3 points, only 3 field goal attempts. She was 1 of 3 from the field, 1 of 3 from the charity stripe. 3 points, 4 boards, and 3 turnovers for Monica Stevens, the junior from West Carter High School near the KCU campus. Some of the numbers as a team: KCU 44% from the field, 13 of 29. OCU 12 of 35 for 34%. Trailblazers 39% on threes, 5 of 13. You can shoot 34% as a team and lead at halftime when you shoot 5 of 13 on threes. KCU doing well from behind the arc as well, 2 of 5 for 40%. Dead even in the battle of the backboards, 19-19. KCU with 14 turnovers in this first half. That from a team that averages only 15 per game. So OCU again has dialed up some more defensive pressure. They are sending more double teams all over the court, and it has produced some fruit here in the first half. Again, KCU with 14 turnovers in the first 20 minutes. OCU with 10 themselves. What other statistics can I tell you you want to keep an eye on? Well, the foul trouble, Asia Woodson and Kara Zwick with 2 apiece on the OCU side of things, and Sharonda Jones, the only KCU Lady Knight in any kind of foul trouble. She has 2 fouls in the first 20 minutes. KCU has not been beat by an NCCAA Division II school in over 2 years. They have run off 33 straight. Their last loss was to this OCU program down in Grayson, 72-67, back on January 18th, 2011. I love to look back at some of the great games between these two teams, and that one's significant because it's the only time in the 22-year Ron Arnett era that KCU has ever lost to a D2 school on their home floor. They have lost, 4 times in 22 seasons against D2 schools in the regular season, but it was the only time they have ever been beat on the KCU home floor. 9 Lady Trailblazers scored in that game. Freshman Katie Wyatt, who stayed only a season in Circleville, came off the bench to score 17 points. Senior Angela Thorne, boy, could she rebound. 15 boards in that game, only had 3 points. OCU had a 37-21 advantage in bench points. KCU 39% from the field. It was Autumn Carter who ended up being the National Player of the Year a couple seasons later, that led KCU with 16 points. Both teams in that game took real good care of the basketball. KCU with only 12 turnovers and OCU with 11. So OCU, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but trying to make a little history tonight and beat a team that hasn't taken a loss to a D2 school in some 33 games. And if you think that's impressive, this KCU Lady Knights team won a record 90 straight games against Division II schools from 02 to 06, and that's the same length that the Yukon women had a streak of 90 games that was snapped back on December 31st, 2010. Can you imagine 90 in a row against the teams at your level? Maybe the most staggering statistic of them all with this legend, Ron Arnett down at KCU, is the fact that he has a 97% winning percentage against teams at his own level. Not only has he won more than he's lost against the scholarship school NAIA's programs, he's got a 54% winning percentage against those schools, but to do what he has done, and I'll give you the exact number, entering this season, he was 373-13 against NCCAA Division II schools. So it is a big deal. It is a storm the court kind of experience if OCU can hold on and win this basketball game tonight. They lead 32-31 here at the intermission. So again, it's Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways. We say thanks to Jonna Thompson and the rest of the crew there at the Circleville Subways. Right now you can stop by and get a 6-inch flatbread breakfast sandwich and a coffee or 20-ounce drink for only $3 at the Circleville Subways. You can choose from a 6-inch ham and egg, bacon and egg, or egg and cheese. Subway, eat fresh. We'll take a break here on the halftime show. 32-30, OCU by 2. We'll tell you about the men from these two teams and give you a little preview of that game after this 2-minute timeout here on the Ohio Christian University Trailblazer Basketball Network.
You're watching the Trailblazer Basketball Network. The OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network, brought to you in part by
Domino's Pizza of Circleville, located on Lancaster Pike. 740-477-2541. 740-477-2541.
Circleville Subway is a proud sponsor of the OCU Trailblazers Basketball Network. Subway, eat fresh.
Service Master Clean by Todd George. They will help you get clean and stay that way at work and at home. 740-687-1077. Fairfield Christian Academy has a K-12 program that's committed to molding young minds to have a Christian worldview while providing an education of excellence. Learn more at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.
If you're enjoying today's game, watch it again at trailblazerbasketball.tv.
I knew that attending Ohio Christian University
would prepare me for whatever lies ahead.
What I didn't know is how I would pay for my education.
I wondered how complex the process was, and if I would be eligible to receive financial aid.
Well, that's when I found the OCU financial aid website.
At Ohio Christian, the process is simple.
The OCU Financial Aid website provided me with the information I needed to start and complete the process. I learned how to fill out my free application for federal student aid. Soon after completing my FAFSA, an Ohio Christian Financial Aid counselor determined which aid was available for me and answered all my questions about my options.
Options like grants and work study,
Student loans and scholarships.
An Ohio Christian University education is within my reach.
If you are concerned about finances, as I used to be, I encourage you to take the next step.
fill out your FAFSA today.
For assistance, call Ohio Christian University at 1-877-7-OCU-NOW or visit us at ohiochristian.edu.
Back here in the Maxwell Leadership Center, just about set to get underway here in the second half. Later tonight at approximately 8 p.m., it'll be the OCU and KCU men. OCU comes in at 17-8. They have had the #1 ranking in the NCCAA for about the last 6 or 8 weeks. They have knocked off Valley Forge. They've knocked off the defending champion, Grace Bible College. They've beaten Kirk Hansen and Central Bible. They beat Trinity out of North Dakota. That was at the national tournament a year ago. They've beaten Kuiper, who was at the national tournament a year ago. And so, without question, the unanimous #1 team in America right now at 17-8. They are 6-0 in the Mideast region. KCU, as I like to describe it, kind of stumbled into that January 15th meeting on life support. There was not much going on. Good. Ron Reed said that very candidly as I talked to him, but they lost by only 10 to OCU on the 15th of January and got a little bit of momentum. They were missing 2 starters in that game, and since that point they have won 5 in a row in 7 of their last 8 games, and who knows what happens tonight. I know Tony Stockman concerned because he thinks his team is overlooking this KCU team a little bit, and one thing that you know about a Ron Reed-led KCU team is they play exceptionally hard, and so we should have a good one tonight in the nightcap at 8 p.m. We hope you'll stick around and tune in for that one. But the OCU women off to a great start. They lead 32-30 as we get underway here in the second half. 19:35 to play underneath Bowens. Her runner-up close, no good. Stevens, an offensive rebound. Her putback, no good. And a foul or what? A shot clock violation called by Matt Balster. That ball never hit the rim, apparently, and it's a turnover back to OCU. So I guess I just assumed that ball hit the iron as it went up, but Matt Balster says no, it's a turnover back to the Trailblazers. With it is Woodson to the right side and Tiaja Smith. Smith just holding the basketball, now goes back to Woodson. He's got some space to work against Bowens, who immediately slapped it loose though and ends up in the hands of Rowe. Rowe to the left side, Woodson. Woodson trying to go underneath, deflected back to Woodson with 1 on the shot clock. She put it in. Not exactly the way Mandy Ray drew it up, but it still counts as 2 anyway. And Asia Woodson with 5 in this game, and OCU with a 34-30 advantage. Across the timeline, it's Chester to the right wing now, and Bowens off a screen from Stevens. Goes back to the screener, Stevens, who kind of just heaved it up at the rim. No good. Ball on the floor. 3 players on the floor. It ends up in the hands of Smith. And a what? We're going to call a foul on Bowens? I believe they are. And James Marable made that call, and I'll tell you very objectively that could have been a jump ball and not a foul, as both players looking to make a play on the basketball, and instead it's number 2 on Bowens, number 1 on the team here in the second half. 18-18 to play in the game. Trailblazers by 4. Rowe off the screen, the dribble drive from Woodson. Her 3 right baseline is no good, and the rebound to KCU. Lady Knights in black, moving left to right. Your Trailblazers in the home white with the blue numbers. With it is Bowens underneath to Stevens, and that time, boy, did Stevens shield Will nicely, and Will allowed her to shield her to the baseline. And so Stevens, once she caught it, there was no resistance, no help there at all, and Stevens, with her best possession of this game, has 5 points on an assist, another one from Tanya Bowens, who had 6 in the first half. Top of the key, Woodson's 3, drops in. Rim, backboard, rim, and in. So Asia Woodson with 5 quick ones here in the second half, 8 in the game, and it's 37-32, 17:25 to play. OCU by 5. As Bowen, I thought she traveled. They called a foul away from the basketball on Olivia Davis as she and Sharonda Jones were banging, but I thought that Tanya Bowen slid that pivot foot out top of the key. I thought that was going to be the call, and maybe that foul saved the turnover. Underneath, it's Stevens, double team. Left baseline, it's Marshall. Back to Stevens, back out to Bowens. Thought about a straightaway three. Instead, dribble drive, drops it off to Chester. Back to Bowens. Now she'll fire the three, and she hits. First Lady Knight in double figures is Tanya Bowen. She has 10 in the game, and it's cut the OCU advantage to 2. It's 37-35. It was 2 at the intermission, 32-30 OCU. Smith to Rowe. Rowe left baseline. Got the step. Tried to go by Marshall, who blocked her shot. Will tried to save it in bounds, and she did to a KCU Lady Knight. It's a 4-on-1 break. Underneath, Chester put it up, in, and she was fouled. And Chester hit by Tiaja Smith and hit her head on the floor and is in some obvious pain right now. The bucket is good for Rachel Chester. She has 6 points in this game. The foul is going to be charged on 13, Tiaja Smith. It's her first and the team second. It looked like on a 4-on-1 break that Smith was just going to give up the basket and allow Chester to score, and at the last minute kind of got underneath her, and Rachel Chester still being tended to, and her head again did hit the floor and now is up, sitting up, being looked at by Ron Arnett and the OCU athletic training staff. But the bucket is in for Chester. She has 6 points and will shoot a free throw. At least she is entitled to one. We'll see if she can stay on the floor, if Ron Arnett going to have to take her out of this game, and I think that's going to be the case. And so now the rules get interesting here with who can do the shooting. I learned something not too long ago that women's basketball is actually different than the men. On the men's side, I think the opposing coach gets to choose the shooter, but on the women's side, I believe that Ron Arnett has the freedom to choose who he brings into the game, which I thought that was interesting as I found that out in some of the rule books. But they're going to bring in Caitlin Meyer, who is she's a perfect 100%, 8 of 8. So a good choice by Ron Arnett. Now 9 of 9 is Caitlin Meyer, and Chester being looked at still by that training staff. Head to the floor, the first thing you think is concussion, and they're testing her, having her do some 1-foot drills, walking, and just seeing exactly how alert Rachel Chester is. We'll try to keep you abreast of what's going on there. Left side, it's Woodson. Woodson, top of the key to Kara Zwick. Shot clock is at 3. Zwick going to have to try one of those sweeping hooks that we're going to call a loose ball foul. Was just getting ready to be a violation as that shot from Zwick never hit the rim. And right before the horn went off, they called a loose ball foul on Maritza Will. It's her second and the team third. And so KCU on a run here has taken the lead 38-37 with 15:50 to play in the game. Right baseline, it's Caitlin Meyer, who came in for Rachel Chester, the senior from Louisville, replaced by the sophomore from Brooksville, and they're going to call a travel. That'll give it back to the Trailblazers. 15:43 to play, 38-37. Tiaja Smith, Shelby Rowe, Asia Woodson, Kara Zwick, and Maritza Will, the starters, minus Olivia Davis plus Kara Zwick. Right side, it's Smith, top of the key, Rowe, who caught it, had it taken right out of her hands. And Bowens to the other end, she finishes with 2 more. That's a dozen for Tanya Bowens. It's 40-37. With 15-17 to play in the game. Zwick to the other end. Her runner is no good. Bowens the rebound. She's looking to run again. Bowens against Smith. Dropped it off to Sharonda Jones, who put in another. 6 points for Sharonda Jones. Mandy Ray wants a full timeout as the Lady Knights out in transition, beginning to assert themselves, and they have taken a 42-37 lead with 15:06 to play in the basketball game. We'll take a 60-second timeout. You're listening to OCU Trailblazer Basketball here on the OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network.
You're watching the Trailblazer Basketball Network. The OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network, brought to you in part by
Domino's Pizza of Circleville, located on Lancaster Pike, 740-477-2541. 740-477-2541.
Circleville Subway is a proud sponsor of the OCU Trailblazers Basketball Network. Subway, eat fresh.
ServiceMaster Clean by Todd George. They will help you get clean and stay that way at work and at home. 740-687-1077. Fairfield Christian Academy has a K-12 program that's committed to molding young minds to have a Christian worldview while providing an education of excellence. Learn more at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.
If you're enjoying today's game, watch it again at trailblazerbasketball.tv.
15:06 to play in the game. Trailblazers had an 8-point lead in this second half, but KCU has answered with a run of their own and has taken a 42-37 advantage. Mandy Ray called that full timeout to kind of settle down the troops. Zwick just left of center, now looking for Black, who's suffocated there by Bowens. Finally, they get it to Danner. Danner right side, back to Zwick at the right elbow. Zwick picked up her dribble, looking underneath for Smith. Smith back out to Danner, thought about a three. KCU playing good D, shot clock down to 3. Black with 1 on the clock, hit a 3, got it! Pinballed around, and with 1 on the shot clock, it dropped in. Give KCU credit for good defense for 34 seconds, and give OCU even more credit for being patient offensively, and finally something opened up with Chelsea Black. 42-40, 14-12 to play. Underneath Stevens, over Zwick, no good. Stevens a rebound. Zwick blocked her shot. Taken away by Tiasia Smith. Kara Zwick said, get it out. OCU looking to run. Black back out to Tiasia Smith. Smith, a little stop and start. Dropped it off to Maritza Will, who went to the left hand and put it in. 6 points for Maritza Will. We are tied at 42. So OCU with 5 in a row. A Black 3 and a Will layup. Bowens to the other end. Runner on the rim, no. And a loose ball foul, I believe, is going to be called on Kara Zwick, and that's going to be the call as she and Monica Stevens continue to bang underneath that basket. Looking to inbound is Jessica Marshall. Back out to Bowens, back to the right wing, and Marshall off a screen from Stevens. They go back to the screener, put it in, but they're going to call an offensive foul, and Ron Arnett is not happy. It's the second time that they have called an offensive foul, and it's going to be charged to Monica Stevens, or are they? They're going to call the block now. They've gestured charge initially, and instead they charge it to Chelsea Black. That was a strange play. James Marable and Bruce Morris took some time before they made that decision, and they're entitled to do that. You give the Men in Stripes credit. They wanted to get the call correct, and apparently I thought Marable called the offensive foul, but it was the referee, Bruce Morris, that came in and provided some assistance. Underneath, put it up and in. Tiasia Smith went back door, and somebody's caught sleeping wearing the KCU jersey, and it is now 45-44 with 13:07 to play in the game. Bowens into the lane, little scoop shot, no good. Zwick battling, and they're going to say it went off of Zwick, who then went off of Danner. Danner was on the ground, and it was actually Danner that was the last one to touch it. It'll stay with KCU. 30 on the shot clock, 13:01 to play in the game. Inbound to Jones. Marshall all alone for 3. Right side of the iron, no good. And this one slapped out of bounds by Monica Stevens. And it'll go back to OCU. The Trailblazers led by 2 at the intermission. They trail by 1 right now, 45-44. With 12:54 to play in the game. Shelby Rowe back in. Tiasia Smith sits down. Rowe was a huge spark in that first half with 13 points. Tiasia Smith sits down with 6. Yeah, Rowe in that first half was 3 of 6 on threes, 5 of 11 overall, 13 points and 2 steals. She has yet to score here in the second half. Black, a little double pump, scoop shot left side that would not drop in, but they get Monica Stevens for her second personal foul. It's the team second, and Chelsea Black, a 74% free throw shooter, third best on the team, will go to the line and shoot 2, and the first one is up and in. OCU 4 of 5 from the charity stripe for 80%. Stevens will sit down as Jana Glick checks in. Will sits down as Olivia Davis is in. One more free throw coming up for Chelsea Black. 14 of 19 coming in. Make it 16 of 21 on the year for the junior from St. Paris, Ohio. And those two free throws have given OCU the advantage. 46-45 with 12:30 to play in the game. Left wing, it's Marshall off a screen from Black. Dumps it back to Caitlin Meyer, who's getting extended minutes. Runner left side by Bowens is no good. Rebound Olivia Davis. Davis to Chelsea Black, and her long pass was intercepted by Caitlin Meyer. Back into the hands of Bowen, underneath to Glick. Double pumps, tried to raise up and had it taken away by Black. It's a 2-on-2 break. Black to the rim, up high off the rim, no good. And the rebound into the hands of Jana Glick for KCU. Have not seen Rachel Chester for the Lady Knights, again with only 8 in uniform. And now Chester, as I say that, comes to the table, which both teams would say that's a good thing. You don't want anybody being hurt, as Chester hit her head hard on the floor, and she will check in at the next dead ball. Jessica Marshall just scored points 7 and 8. It's 47-46. Zwick backing down Jones. Little jump hook is up and in. Second field goal for Kara Zwick. Sharonda's got to get stronger than that. Boy, did Zwick seal with ease and then just backed her down to where she wanted to shoot it. 48-47 OCU. Bowens into the lane, trying to set up Meyer, but that pass was off the mark and ends up with Glick. Back to Bowens, got the step into the lane, put it up and in. Glick created just enough contact to give Tanya Bowens an inch, and she took advantage of it. Marshall intercepted it, back to Bowens. It's 1-on-3. Now 2-on-3 as Meyer will fire a 3, and she hits. First field goal for Caitlin Meyer, has 4 points. Remember, she shot that free throw after Chester was fouled in the act of shooting. So 52-48, Chester and Tiaja Smith at the table. They'll check in at the next dead ball. Again, Zwick underneath, a lot of contact, no call. It'll stay with OCU, and now the subs should come in. There's the horn. Chelsea Black will sit down as Tiaja Smith is in, and Tanya Bowens, probably with her first and only breather of this second half, will sit down for KCU as Rachel Chester checks back in. Danner to Tiaja Smith. Let's see if OCU can take advantage with no Bowens on the floor. Ball shot and knocked out of bounds by Kara Zwick. So 10:18 to play. Trailblazers trailing by 4, 52-48. Rick Cooper, Fairfield Digital Media, and the Fairfield Media, beg your pardon, and the OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network. Caitlin Meyer, right side. Over to Chester. Shot clock is at 13, game clock at 10 minutes. Meyer, another 3. This one came up short, and Kara Zwick, the only player for either team underneath the rim to grab the rebound. Zwick to Danner. Danner looking for some help. Instead takes it to the rim and put it in. Took it right around Rachel Chester and has the ability, does Danner, to use that left hand near the rim, and that made all the difference in the world. 52-50, 9:30 to play in the game. Marshall around the horn. Meyer gonna fire another 3, and she hits. So the sophomore from Brooksville, Kentucky, who came in averaging 2.7 points per game, fearless, taking some big shots here early in this second half. 55-50. Rowe to answer with 3, and she does. 16 for Shelby Rowe. It's her 4th three-pointer of this game. And OCU within 1 possession. They trail 55-53 as we go under 9 minutes to play in the game. KCU, the 6th time, or they've won 6 straight, let me say that correctly, 6 consecutive national championships, and a 3-second violation is going to be called on Jana Glick. They have won 15 in school history. Ron Arnett has led this program to 14 of those national championships. The first was led by a gentleman by the name of Tom Bender. That was the longtime dean of men, would live in the dorms with the male students, and coached that team to a national championship, back in about 1989 was when KCU got their first. OCU has been the national runner-up. They would love to win a title this year on their home floor, and this would be a big step, a big confidence boost if they could knock off a team that has won 33 in a row against Division II schools dating back to 2011. Little pick and pop or little pick and roll, and Ron Arnett looks at Rachel Chester and says, no, it wasn't there. He wanted the pick and roll. Instead of that pass, he wanted a pass to the left wing instead. And now some question about whose basketball it was. I was busy watching Arnett chew on Chester a little bit. There was a question whether that ball was KCU's or OCU's. Bowens is back in, got about a 2-minute breather as Chester will sit down with 8:18 to play in the game. It's 55-53, and KCU will keep the basketball, though inbound in front of the Lady Knights bench. Bowens again goes away from the screen this time. A lot of contact, hand on the basketball. Bowens still nearly put it in, and she steals the rebound right out of the hands of one of the Trailblazers. Meyer, right wing, Glick around the horn right side to Marshall. Back out to Meyer. Shot clock is at 18. Game clock is under 8 minutes. 55-53 KCU. 3 on the right side by Meyer again. No good. Stevens got a hand on it, but it ends up in the hands of Maritza Will for OCU. Will to Woodson. Woodson straight to the rim, and she dropped it in. Hung on the front of the rim and finally went in. Woodson, the second Trailblazer in double digits. She has 10. Under 7.5 minutes to play. We are tied at 55. Caitlin Meyer, who has been a spark for this KCU team in the second half, with it. Now to the right wing, and the two-time tournament MVP Bowens. Left wing Marshall, her three, no good. Good box out by Olivia Davis, and Davis had it, and her outlet pass was knocked out of bounds by KCU. I thought that was a loose ball foul right there. Looked like Stevens or Glick, one of them, was all over the back of Olivia Davis and nearly forced her into a turnover. Jessica Marshall will sit down. First appearance of the second half for Kelsey Pugh. Pugh played sparingly, 2 minutes and 18 seconds in that first half. Did not score, but she will give Marshall a breather here. 7 minutes to play in the game. Off a screen, Tiaja Smith. Smith got the step, but could not finish. Battle for the basketball, and they're going to call a loose ball foul. I believe they're going to call it to Jana Glick. I thought maybe they were going to get Bowens with number 3. Instead, it's number 2 on Jana Glick. It's number 3 on the team here in the second half. 6:54 to play in the game, and Shelby Rowe will inbound underneath the OCU basket. You know this play. They're going to give it right to Davis to fire a 3. No good. Rebound, Jana Glick. Glick immediately tied up, and they're going to call a jump ball. And the possession arrow is going to keep it here with OCU. So good hustle by Olivia Davis. She was the one that shot that basketball top of the key and hustled all the way down to the left baseline to force the tie-up. Davis off the screen on the inbound. Her 3 no good. Rebounded in the hands of Stevens. Stevens will get it to Caitlin Meyer, who's going to try to bring it up against Woodson, and now gets it to the All-American point guard, Tanya Bowens. Tied at 55, 6:28 to play in the game. And Bowens had it slapped out of bounds by Tiaja Smith. It's interesting, on that last inbound, it was Olivia Davis that brought the basketball in. Shelby Rowe has made a living on that inbound, but Mandy Ray showing a little bit different look with Davis bringing it in, and ended up with a shot on the baseline that Shelby Rowe has taken hundreds of in OCU history. Bowens into the lane, lost the basketball. Taken away by Shelby Rowe. It's a 2-on-2 break. Davis to the left hand, and she put it in. Boy, does she run the floor well. A bright, bright future for the middle hitter for the volleyball team, and the center for this OCU basketball team, Olivia Davis. Caitlin Meyer to Pugh. Pugh to the right elbow. Cross court to Bowens. Will fire a 3. On the rim, no good. Nobody boxed out. Glick, left-handed shot underneath, no good. Stevens, an offensive rebound, and she dropped it in. 10 points for Monica Stevens, and Mandy Ray wants a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here. It's Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways, the biggest footlong event of the year is in full swing at the Circleville Subways. Many footlongs are just $5. There's plenty of $6 footlong specials as well. They call it the February special. I can't even say that. That's a weird word. The February, instead of February, the February special at the Circleville Subway. Subway, eat fresh, and everybody in the building tonight got a buy one, get one free coupon from Subway, and had some contests on the floor where they gave away Subway gift cards, and all courtesy of Jonna Thompson and the Circleville Subways, and encourage you to support that fine establishment as much as you possibly can. Again, it's Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways. Our next broadcast is on Saturday. We'll be back in this building when Crown College out of Knoxville, Tennessee will bring their men up. And it will be Crown and OCU at 3 p.m. Airtime with the pregame show is set for 2:40. It's a video broadcast. Rowe, as we get back to basketball, a quick catch and fire on the baseline. Shelby Rowe with 19 points in this game. 15 of those 19 on threes. 60-57, 5:18 to play. Glick underneath against Davis. Little left-handed jump hook, no good. And the rebound into the hands of Woodson. It's a 3-on-3 break. Woodson straight to the rim. She scored again. Nobody stopped basketball, and Asia Woodson made him pay. KCU with 5 in a row, or OCU 5 in a row. They lead 62-57. Under 5 minutes to play in the game, and ball slapped out of bounds by Woodson from behind. It'll stay with KCU. Here comes Rachel Chester. Chester back with 6. Caitlin Meyer, productive minutes in the second half, sits down with 7. And back in as well as Jessica Marshall. Marshall returns with 8. Looking to inbound is Pugh to Chester. Marshall left wing, thought about a 3, instead gets it back out to the senior from Louisville, Kentucky, Rachel Chester. Tanya Bowens off a screen from Marshall into the lane. 10-footer is up and in. 16 for Tanya Bowens. Bowens began her career at Brescia, never played there, but was recruited by every NAIA in the state of Kentucky, and Ron Arnett didn't even think he had a chance with Bowens. Didn't even recruit her. Right side, Will. Jumper from 20 feet is no good. Offensive rebound is up and in. I believe it was Olivia Davis that put that one in as obstructed. She's got 7, and it's 64-59. But to finish that thought on Bowens, was not happy at Brescia and actually told her coach she wanted to come back and play for KCU. Ron Arnett was on vacation, a high-rise somewhere near a beach, and got a call that really has changed this KCU program of late, that Bowens wanted to come wear the black and red. Glick on the right side, no. And a jump ball is going to be called as Monica Stevens and Maritza Will were tied up. It'll stay with KCU, and looking to inbound is Jessica Marshall to Bowens left baseline. 3:43 to play in the game. Bowens double teamed in the lane to Chester. Back out to Marshall. Here's Chester with an open 3. In and out. Rebound in the hands of Tiaja Smith. So the Trailblazers with a golden opportunity here. They lead by 5 with 3:25 to play. And as I say that, an unforced error. It's a 2-on-1 break. Chester to Bowens. Little alley-oop. She put it in, and she was fouled. Bucket is good for Bowens. Points 17 and 18. Foul is charged. See who they charge this to. It's going to be 21 Asia Woodson. It's her 3rd, team 6th, and it's amazing. Trailblazers 5-point lead with the basketball, opportunity to extend it. And instead, it's Tanya Bowens, a 3-point play at the other end, and this is a 1-possession game. 64-62, 3:10 to play. Every possession critical here. Woodson again tried to get the step in, and it's slapped out of bounds by Tanya Bowens. 17 on the shot clock, 3:05 to play. Woodson, Rowe, Will, Smith, and Davis on the floor for OCU. Trailblazers in white. Inbound, back to the inbounder, Woodson. Here's Will, 15-footer, got it! Maritza Will with a big jumper. 8 points in the game, under 3 minutes to play. Senior Kara Zwick at the table. She'll check in at the next dead ball, and that dead ball happens right now as Chester lost it out of bounds off of Woodson. Will sit down with 8. Karaswick back in with 4. OCU fans to their feet. 66-62, 2:45 to play. Tiaja Smith trying to apply pressure to Bowens, and Smith slapped it loose, but Bowens able to run it down. 10 on the shot clock. Jones off the dribble drive, shot no good. Rebound Olivia Davis. Davis to Tiaja Smith, and he threw it out of bounds. It's the second time OCU had a 5-point advantage a minute ago. They lead by 4 here, and Mandy Ray saying why? With a 4-point advantage, the clock is your 6th man. Take 30 seconds off of it. Instead, KCU with an opportunity to make this a 1-possession game, and Bowens shot no, but she was fouled, and it's going to be charged on number 13, Tiaja Smith. Second foul on Smith, 7th on the team, and Tanya Bowens, the junior from Louisa, Kentucky. Teacher Ed Major will go to the line and shoot 2. The first one is up and in. KCU now 6 of 10 from the charity stripe for 60%. Tanya Bowens with 20 and make it 21 as she hits the second as well. So KCU now 7 of 11 from the free throw line. And this is a 1-possession game with 2:14 to play. And it is a 30-second timeout that Ron Arnett calls. We'll keep it right here. If you're hungry, try Domino's Handmade Pan Pizza with 2 layers of cheese, toppings to the edge, and a crust made from fresh dough. A medium 2-topping pan pizza is only $7.99 at Domino's Pizza, 207 Lancaster Pike in Circleville. Call 740-477-2541. We got a fast-moving game here tonight. Only 20 after 7 right now with 2:14 to play in the game. I believe, don't hold me to that, I'm just merely the little play-by-play guy, but I believe that the second game will still start at 8 o'clock, but we typically don't get done this early, but so we may have an extended post game. We'll have to see exactly how they handle this if we finish early. They break the KCU pressure, and what are they going to call? A traveling violation on Woodson, who had an opportunity to put one in uncontested at the right block. Instead, KCU with an opportunity to tie or maybe take the lead. Mandy Ray still dialing up pressure here. She wants pressure on Bowens by Tiaja Smith, who's really making Bowens work. 66-64. Marshall picked up there by Shelby Rowe. Around the horn to the left side, and Bowens off a screen to the screener. 15-footer by Jones, no good, and Davis, another big defensive rebound. And now Mandy Ray, if you can see her on your screen, gesturing to slow it down. Let's take our time. Let's get a good shot. Off a screen, it's Rowe. She's open for 3. Oh, look good from this angle. Just wide right. Rebound KCU. $1:20 to play. And Ron Arnett going to use another timeout, and this time it's going to be a full. So why don't we step aside and take a break with him. It's Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subway. OCU 66, KCU 64. You're listening to Trailblazer Basketball here on the Ohio Christian University Trailblazer Basketball Network.
You're watching the Trailblazer Basketball Network. The OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network, brought to you in part by
Domino's Pizza of Circleville, located on Lancaster Pike. 740-477-2541. 740-477-2541.
Circleville Subway is a proud sponsor of the OCU Trailblazers Basketball Network. Subway, eat fresh.
Service Master Clean by Todd George. They will help you get clean and stay that way at work and at home. 740-687-1077. Fairfield Christian Academy has a K-12 program that's committed to molding young minds to have a Christian worldview while providing an education of excellence. Learn more at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.
If you're enjoying today's game, watch it again at trailblazerbasketball.tv.
66-64, minute 15 to play. KCU trailing by 2, but they have the basketball here. Underneath to Stevens. Stevens double team. Back out to Marshall. Fires a 3. Missed everything, and it goes out of bounds, or does it? No. And finally it does, as Stevens tried to save it in bounds, and it ended up going out of bounds back to OCU. So here comes Caitlin Danner. Tiaja Smith will sit down. This is probably to shoot free throws. Smith only 40%, but what do I know? Caitlin Danner 47, so neither player very strong from the charity stripe, and they go with Danner instead of Smith, and it forces a turnover near the timeline. 51.2 left, and it's 66-64. Here comes Tiaja Smith on the defensive side. Danner will sit down. Again, 51.2 left, 30-second shot clock, so KCU can't hold it for 1. They trail by 2. Across the timeline, it's Tanya Bowens working against Tiaja Smith. And Woodson came over from the side and picked her pocket. Woodson to the other end, put it up close, no. Rebound, Davis. Davis on the floor. Stevens, make that. Marshall ends up with it to Bowens. And KCU going to have a possession here. 26 seconds left. 4-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Off a screen, Bowens, 10-footer on the rim, no good, and a loose ball foul is going to be charged to 22, Jana Glick. It's her third. It's only the team's fourth. Ron Arnett wants a timeout with 17.6 seconds left. If you're KCU, you can't ask for a better opportunity. You've got the All-American Bowens coming off a bone-jarring screen from Monica Stevens. She ended up with a 10-footer. Beautiful look that Bowens probably makes 8 or 9 out of every 10, and that one caromed out. KCU could not get the rebound. OCU gets it, and a foul called. Here's the situation. With 17.6 seconds left, KCU has only committed 4 team fouls. So obviously they're going to try to force a turnover, but the problem if you're KCU is you've got to foul 3 more times to try to extend this game and get OCU to have to hit free throws. So here comes Caitlin Meyer, a quick little sophomore guard, going to try to come in and get a steal, but you got to believe to commit 3 fouls. How many seconds are going to come off this clock? Probably at least 7 to 9 seconds. So that's an advantage to OCU. You got to know a foul is coming if you're OCU, and when you catch that basketball, you've got to be strong with it. It's Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways. Enjoy a 6-inch flatbread breakfast sandwich and a coffee or 20-ounce drink for only $3 at the Circleville Subways. Choose from a 6-inch ham and egg, bacon and egg, or egg and cheese. Subway, eat fresh. This will be interesting. OCU to inbound underneath the KCU basket. They do so to Rowe, and they're going to try to force a jump ball is what they were going to try to do, and I can't tell from my vantage point who has the possession arrow, but it is a foul instead on Jana Glick, and so that is her, I beg your pardon, it's on 14. Marshall, it's her first. Now Davis will have to do it again, and they inbound it, and Chelsea Black loses the basketball out of bounds, and so now Ron Arnett will use a full timeout. Tiaja Smith checks in for defensive purposes, and well, I tell you what, if you're KCU and you lose this basketball game tonight, one thing Ron Arnett will not say is we did not have opportunities. OCU has had several chances to kind of slam the door in this game and has not been able to do it, and Arnett going to draw something up here with 11.5 seconds left. KCU, I know, has 1 timeout. Mandy Ray still is not used as many. I don't know exactly how many she's got, but that is not an issue here with 11.5 left. The shot clock is off. So, but again, I liked, if I'm KCU, I liked what I got the last time with Monica Stevens coming out and setting a screen. Tiaja Smith is causing all kinds of problems right now with her defensive pressure on Tanya Bowens, and so you've got enough time. You've got some options here, and you've got to believe that Monica Stevens going to be a part of this, whether she's posting up at the block or whether she comes out to give Bowens some space. with a little two-man game. She concerns me, and as I say that, Rick Cooper, what do you know? Stevens isn't even in the game, so they are not going to use her at least to screen for Bowens. Let's see if they give her some more help. It's a 1-4 set here. Bowens to the rim, put it up and in with 6 seconds left, and Mandy Ray calls a timeout. So they abandon everything. They say, no, we're not going to set any kind of screen for Tanya Bowens. She's our 2-time national tournament MVP. She's a 2-time first-team All-American. We're going to spread them out, put 2 players on the baseline, 2 players at the block, and in a 1-4 set, we're going to put make or break. We're going to get it into the hands of Tanya Bowens, and she delivers with 6 seconds left. She has tied this game at 66 apiece. So Bowens, another tidbit on this young lady, 2-time first-team All-American. As good as this KCU program has been, 2 more first-team All-American awards, which you got to believe are coming to her. She would be only the 2nd player in KCU history to leave a 4-time first-team All-American. Another by the name of Tabitha Hannum Hall did it back in the early to mid-90s when Ron Arnett was beginning the building process with this KCU program. So a 66 all with 6 seconds to play as Tanya Bowens hits a runner. And now Mandy Ray has an opportunity. Unfortunately, we're not playing NBA rules. Would love to be able to inbound this thing on the side. The dangerous thing is you are inbounding it under the KCU basket, and Ron Arnett coming with full court pressure. Olivia Davis can run the baseline here. Davis looking to inbound. 6 seconds to play. Gets it to Smith. Smith immediately double team. Nearly lost the basketball, and now they call a jump ball, and the possession arrow keeps it with OCU. 2.5 seconds left. Davis will inbound again. Mandy Ray going to use another timeout, and I tell you what I would do here, because the last thing you want to do is another jump ball that would give KCU an opportunity to win it on their side of the floor. I'm throwing a baseball pass to the other end. The one thing you got to do if you throw the baseball pass, if it's not caught or completed, somebody's got to at least touch it. If it goes out of bounds at the other end and it wasn't touched, KCU would inbound underneath their own basket. We would go back to where the ball was brought in, but I just like the idea. Olivia Davis has a cannon for an arm. Let her throw it to the other end, try to hit somebody and make a play. And you know that if that play isn't made, that KCU is going to have to shoot a half-court shot or three-quarter shot to beat you. I'm just scared bringing it in underneath the Lady Knights basket. 2.5 seconds left. We are tied at 66. Olivia Davis will once again be the inbounder. This time, unfortunately, after the jump ball, she cannot run the baseline, and so she's going to inbound right on the side and going to have to keep those feet still. And now the horn goes off with 2 seconds left. Woodson to win it! On the rim, no! And the horn went off again as Woodson nearly put that one in to win it. That was bizarre. It went off when she caught it, and then it went off as she shot it. And boy, did that thing nearly drop in. Asia Woodson got a good look. That would have won the basketball game, and now they want to bring the Men in Stripes over, and the Men in Stripes talking about it as well. So and I just heard the referee, Bruce Morris, say that was our fault. So something happened. They had something programmed in, is what he said, and that's why the horn went off when it did. So not sure exactly what just happened, but remember about 5 minutes ago when I told you we were going to get done early tonight? Well, we've got 5 minutes of extra basketball right now, tied at 66, and boy, that was pretty interesting. So Asia Woodson had a runner that would have won it, and instead we've got 5 extra minutes of basketball. Tanya Bowens was the one that hit a right side jumper from about 10 feet off the glass with 6 seconds left to force what ended up was a game-tying basket to force the OT. We'll jump it up again. The referee again to do the honors is Bruce Morris. It's Woodson and Marshall, and OCU controls the tip. to the right side. Woodson streaking to the basket. She put it up and in. 14 for Asia Woodson. Trailblazers lead 68-66. We are in overtime. 4:40 to play in the first OT, and Rachel Chester just dribbled it off her foot out of bounds. So again, we said it a lot more in the first 20 minutes, but the OCU pressure has taken to a new heights tonight. And Tiaja Smith and Asia Woodson causing all kinds of trouble for the KCU guards. Left wing, it's Tiaja Smith. Underneath Zwick off a screen, and Stevens came over at the last minute and blocked her shot out of bounds. They shielded Stevens with a screen, and give her credit for fighting as quick as she could to get over there to contest that shot from Zwick. Zwick again working against Stevens. Little sweeping hook, no good. Davis an offensive rebound, left-handed scoop shot, no good. And Stevens a defensive rebound. Stevens trying to use some elbows to create a little bit of space, and finally does. An outlet to Marshall. Marshall to Chester. Pugh wants it underneath against Davis. Instead, they go out to Pugh on the right wing. Under 4 minutes to play in the first overtime. 68-66, OCU by 2, as Pugh has trouble running it down. Finally does on the baseline. 5 on the shot clock. Stevens lost it out of bounds off of Kara Zwick, and now the shot clock is at 4. 3:46 to play. OCU 68 and KCU 66. It's Tuesday Night Hoops, presented by the Circleville Subways. 4 on the clock. Bowens with 3. Bowens with 2. Bowens offensive foul. Cleared with the offhand, and Ron Arnett agrees. He acknowledges that Bowens did that, and one thing to Bowens' credit, she was just trying to make a play with 2 on the shot clock. She had to create some space, and it's like a missed shot, except that it's number 3 on Tanya Bowen. 68-66, 3:30 to play. Zwick thought about a 3. Back out to Woodson, who will fire a 3. Back of the rim, no good, and the rebound into the hands of Monica Stevens. Stevens immediately double teamed. Stevens to Marshall. And Marshall will slow things down for KCU. The Lady Knights, 6 consecutive national championships, 33 in a row against D2 schools, and they are trailing here in the OT, 68-66. Pugh will inbound right in front of Ron Arnett and the KCU bench. Does so to Bowens, who double pumped and put it over the bigger Kara Zwick. How did she put that one in? Tanya Bowens, 18 here in the second half in the OT, 25 for the game, and we are tied at 68. Tiaja Smith into double coverage. Underneath to Zwick, little scoop shot right side, no good. Deflected by Davis. Back out to Shelby Rowe. It's a fresh 30 with 2:40 to play in the overtime. Right side, Woodson got the step but could not finish. Rebound Marshall for KCU. Halfway through this first overtime, 2:30 to play in the game. We are tied at 68. Jana Glick pops off Ron Arnett's bench. Into the lane, Bowens very methodically to the rim. Shot no good, and a jump ball between Olivia Davis and Tanya Bowens. And the possession arrow this time favors the Lady Knights. Kelsey Pugh sits down. Pugh sits down scoreless as Jana Glick, the sophomore from Massillon, Ohio, back in with 6, and 2:18 to play in the OT, 27 on the shot clock. Bowens, dangerous pass that was deflected by one of the Trailblazers. It'll stay with KCU, and it'll be Jessica Marshall that will bring it in again in front of the KCU bench. Marshall to the right side, and Bowens. Bowens trying to set up Marshall with some dribble drive. Shelby Rowe didn't take the bait. Stevens lost it, nearly traveled, but got rid of it just before she went to the floor. Here's Bowens with 8 on the shot clock. Picks up her dribble. Back to Marshall. Underneath Stevens. Was going to try a little scoop shot. Never could get control with 1 on the clock. Chester's 3, no good. Offensive rebound, no. It went out of bounds off of Jana Glick. Back to OCU. Minute 44 to play in the game. We are in overtime. Tied at 68. Olivia Davis, Tiaja Smith, Asia Woodson, 3 freshmen, along with 2 seniors, Shelby Rowe and Kara Zwick, on the floor for OCU, tied at 68. Woodson to Davis, around the horn to the right side, and Zwick thought about a three and now fires a three. It never got there. Rebound taken away by Marshall to Bowens. Not necessarily the shot that Mandy Ray wanted there. KCU with an opportunity to tie or take the lead, I beg your pardon, and Bowens just threw it into the first row. Again, tried the dribble drive and threw it into the first row instead of the KCU Lady Knights spotting left wing. And Mandy Ray wants a full timeout with 1:14 to play in this game. We are tied at 68. It's Tuesday Night Hoops presented by the Circleville Subways. The biggest foot-long event of the year is in full swing right now for the month of February at the Circleville Subways. Many footlongs just $5, plenty at $6 as well. They call it the Febueny special because basically any footlong, not every, but almost any footlong, available for $5 or $6 at the Circleville Subways. Subway, eat fresh. Our next broadcast is Saturday at 3 p.m. when Crown College out of the Mideast region will be in this building. It'll be a video broadcast, 3 p.m. Crown College and the OCU men. Airtime with the pregame show is set for 2:40. Our next women's broadcast will be our final regular season broadcast on the 16th, a Saturday, 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. in this building. Also, video broadcast, airtime 12:40 with the pregame show. KCU fans listening or watching tonight, it is worth noting that we will carry both KCU games with live video at the Mideast Region Tournament. Lady Knights, well, they will only play once. I take that back. It looks like if OCU were to win this game, it would come down to power points as to who would get the number 1 seed and only have to play one time, and who would get the 2 seed and have to play Johnson in the semis. So KCU and OCU not worried about that right now. They just want to win a basketball game. Under a minute to play, 10 on the shot clock. Davis back to the screener. Zwick, what beautiful two-man game. Kara Zwick with a half dozen. Olivia Davis found her in stride. 70-68, 43 seconds to play in the game. Marshall still behind the timeline. No 10-second violation in women's college basketball. 35 seconds. Bowen still has not cleared it, and now she does with 10 on the shot clock. Smith fell down. Bowen's underneath to Glick. Put it on the rim. No, but she was fouled, and all of that started with Tiaja Smith falling down, trying to apply that suffocating pressure to Tanya Bowens. Once she fell, somebody had to slide up to provide help, and it left Jana Glick all alone near the right block. 2 big free throws for Jana Glick, the sophomore from Massillon, and the first one not even close. 26.8 seconds left. Ron Arnett just went to the table. He found out he's got 2 timeouts left. 70-68. Second free throw. She missed a pair, but Marshall an offensive rebound. The shot clock is now off. 20 seconds to play. 70-68. Bowens into the lane. Little double pump. She missed it up close. Rebound Davis, and it's a foul. And the foul is on Tanya Bowens. It's her 4th. It's the team's 7th. And so now we will go to the other end with 13.4 seconds left. It is a 1-and-1 opportunity. The Trailblazers 5 of 7 from the charity stripe, 71%. More importantly, you want to know about Olivia Davis. She is a 68% free throw shooter. Davis, first one up and in. This is the big one, my friends. This one would make it a 2-possession game. 13.4 left, and she hit a pair. 9 for Olivia Davis, and Ron Arnett wants to use one of his 2 timeouts with 13.4 seconds left. KCU in big trouble, my friends, here in the Maxwell Leadership Center, as Olivia Davis with 2 enormous free throws to make this a 2-possession game. Now let's talk strategy a little bit here. KCU will have to inbound underneath the OCU basket. They'll be able to run the baseline. And with 1 timeout, it's also worth mentioning, worth remembering, that the clock stops on every made basket in the final minute of the second half. You don't have to call a timeout. When that bucket goes through, that ball goes through the rim, the clock stops. And so KCU, what they're going to try to do, Tyus Edney style, is try to get down this basketball court as fast as they can, get a quick two, and then Ron Arnett will have to decide at that point whether he uses his final timeout or whether he just sets up the pressure. My gut would tell me he's going to call his final timeout, and then he's going to foul or try to get a steal and extend this basketball game again. But the big key for the team wearing black is they need to get down the floor in a hurry. For OCU, the strategy, the question is, does Mandy Ray apply pressure or does she meet him back in half court? And coming out of the timeout, it's quickly to Bowens. They are going to apply pressure. 10 seconds left. Bowens had it taken out of her hands, and that's going to do it. She lost the basketball. Kira Zwick is going to dribble this thing out, and OCU in overtime has knocked off KCU 72-68. They did exactly what they wanted to do. KCU, they got it to Bowens, who tried to race down the floor, and in the process of trying to get down there as fast as she could, lost it to Kira Zwick, and Zwick dribbles out the clock. The 33-game win streak against Division II schools comes to a screeching halt as OCU, a message-sending win tonight. They win 72-68 here in overtime. We'll take a break and wrap this one up coming up after this 2-minute timeout here on the OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network.
You're watching the Trailblazer Basketball Network. The OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network, brought to you in part by
Domino's Pizza of Circleville, located on Lancaster Pike, 740-477-2541. 740-477-2541.
Circleville Subway is a proud sponsor of the OCU Trailblazers Basketball Network. Subway, eat fresh.
Service Master Clean by Todd George. They will help you get clean and stay that way at work and at home. 740-687-1077. Fairfield Christian Academy has a K-12 program that's committed to molding young minds to have a Christian worldview while providing an education of excellence. Learn more at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.
If you're enjoying today's game, watch it again at trailblazerbasketball.tv.
One of the slogans that we came up with was "We're number 2," and that was one that seemed to take a hold because everybody would ask, "What are you saying you're number 2 for? You know, what are you number 2 about? You know, don't you want to win?" And of course we wanted to win. We wanted to be the best we could be, but we were number 2 because Jesus Christ was number 1, and that's how we started.
The Lord has blessed all of us, and it's a time that you can't forget. It's the 4 years of your life that you'll always have memories of.
So we knew we could do it, but we finally did it, and we made it.
Coach, I don't feel like waiting until halftime of the men's game after a win like that. 72-68 in overtime, and Mandy Ray does join us. Coach, your initial thoughts, what's going through your mind right now after a pretty exciting basketball game in this building?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, obviously we're happy to get the win. It was just, we knew it was going to be a battle. You know, we were really disappointed in the way we played at their place, and we knew we could play a lot better. And I'm just so proud of the way the girls came out focused and executed our game plan and, you know, just played defense forced them into 25 turnovers. What KCU teams had 25 turnovers, Bowen's 9 turnovers. So, I mean, I'm just so proud of the way we you know, I think we should have pulled it out in regulation, but, you know, we battled back still and, you know, got the stops when we needed them down the stretch.
And not only did you give Bowens problems, the other person that really gave you fits in that first meeting was Stevens, and she didn't really ever seem to get very comfortable underneath, and I know that was the goal coming in for your squad.
Yeah, we were, you know, we felt like we didn't have help side defense. We didn't pressure their guards. We didn't make them do anything different on offense. We just let them do whatever they wanted the first game. So that was really, you know, an emphasis for us. And, you know, I feel like we did, even in the first half especially, really took them out of their half-court game of what they wanted to do. And, you know, obviously Bowens is a good player, and she found some shots and got loose sometimes. But I'm so proud of the way that we battled and you know, played D and pulled it out.
You won the battle of the loose balls too. I mean, you talk about hard battle, and I mean, just 80% of the loose balls tonight went to the team wearing white, and that says a lot about your team as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We just, you know, we kept saying we knew it was going to be a battle, and we knew, you know, we just preached to them all since that first game about how they just wanted it more. Every ball they wanted more than we did, and you know, all the people that believe in us and were cheering for us, and we just didn't even really show up the first game. So that was what, you know, we were playing really to kind of prove some of the doubters wrong,
sure.
I guess, so to speak. But redeemed ourselves definitely tonight.
We talked about it in the pregame interview. Shelby Rowe with only 8 in that last meeting. How big is she today? She gets you 13 in the first half with like 4 threes. I think she had 6 threes for the game. What a difference a game makes for Shelby Rowe.
Definitely. Shelby was more aggressive tonight. Came out, you know, looking to shoot more, and had a slow start at the beginning of the first half, but you know, we just kept saying, be aggressive and shoot the ball. Like, you know, we know you can score. Right. And you're getting the shots that you want, so just shoot them with confidence. And, you know, she went on that stretch where she hit 2 or 3 in a row in the first half. When she does that, that really gets her confidence up and gets her defense going too. So.
Seem to get the rest of the team going too. So
right.
I know you want to go celebrate with your girls. I got one last question. What kind of where do you go from here, knowing that the next 2 times you see this team potentially are going to be on this home floor? This crowd was a factor tonight. What kind of luxury is that to know that they're going to have to beat you in this Maxwell Leadership
Center? It's definitely
Center?
huge. I think it, you know, just keeps building our confidence to know that we can play here and that we get to host both, you know, regionals and nationals. And you know, we said we could peak right at the right time. All the adversity, all the things we've gone through all season long, if we just keep staying together and keep fighting, we can do something special still this year.
Well, it started. The special started tonight. Congrats! It's win number 5 in a row, and hopefully the momentum keeps going. Appreciate your time. Yep. Go celebrate with the team.
All right, thank you.
That's Mandy Ray, the head coach of the Lady Trailblazers. They win in overtime tonight. It was Tanya Bowens that hit a 10-footer with 6 seconds left in regulation that tied it at 66. But OCU outscores KCU 6-2 in the extra 5 minutes, and they win tonight by the final of 72-68. I want to turn our attention to the men, but I will tell you scoring leaders, some scoring numbers. It was Shelby Rowe that led OCU at 19. Asia Woodson added 14. They were the only Trailblazers in double digits, but it was a total team effort today. 8 for Maritza Will, 6 for Kara Zwick, 6 for Tiasia Smith, 3 for Sarah Bechtel tonight. Caitlin Danner had 2. Chelsea Black had 5, all of them in the second half. And a big stat in this game, OCU 7 of 8 from the charity stripe for 88%, and none bigger than the freshman from Central Crossing High School, Olivia Davis, hitting 2 to make it a 2-possession game late in that overtime session. For KCU, Tanya Bowens 25, Monica Stevens with 10. They were the only Lady Knights in double figures. 7 tonight for Meyer, who was a huge spark coming off the bench, especially when Rachel Chester went down. Meyer hit some big shots, all 7 of those in the final 20 minutes in the OT. Jessica Marshall had 6, Jana Glick had 6, Sharonda Jones had 6, and Rachel Chester had 6. The Lady Knights came in a 71% free throw shooting team. They lost by 4 tonight, and they shot 7 of 14 from the charity stripe for only 50%. KCU with the loss drops to 14-13. They drop to 3-1 in the Mideast region. OCU with the win improves to 14-10, and they are 2-1 in the Mideast region. This gets interesting now because it's not margin of victory with the women. Both of these teams with one loss in the Mideast region. On the men's side, when that happens and it's head-to-head losses, they go to margin of victory, who gets the number one seed. With the OCU, with the women's situation, as President Smith walks by in celebratory fashion, they go to power points. You get power points when you beat an NAIA, when you play within a certain amount of points of an NAIA, and so it'll be interesting who gets the nod. My gut would tell me that KCU has had a little more success this year. 4 wins against NAIA programs. OCU winless, 0-4 against the NAIA. So I believe that KCU will still be the number one team in this Mideast region tournament. And if that's the case, they would not have to play until the regional championship game on Saturday here at OCU. And it would mean that OCU and Johnson would play the lone Mideast region women's semifinal. But don't quote me to that. I'm not positive, but if I was a betting man, I would bet that the power rankings would favor the team in KCU that has won 6 consecutive national championships. So OCU drops to wins at 14-10. KCU drops to 14-13. Lady Knights back in action next Monday at the University of Pikeville. OCU with a couple home games here, 3 in a row to end the season. Thursday night against OU Chillicothe at 6 p.m. Next Tuesday against Alice Lloyd at 6 p.m. And then that Saturday, February 16th, Senior Day, a 1 p.m. start against Johnson. That'll be our next women's broadcast at 1 p.m. on Saturday the 16th. We hope you'll join us then. Again, for KCU fans watching, we will have every game of the regional tournament every game covered. And the Lady Knights games on Friday and Saturday will be broadcast with live video. The OCU or the KCU men, if they were to play on Thursday night at the regional tournament, that would be an audio-only broadcast. But everything Friday and Saturday will be live video broadcasts. And so we hope you'll tune back in. I want to say thanks to Ron Arnett for spending time with us, helping us prepare. Thanks to Mandy Ray for coming by pregame and postgame as well. And thanks most of all to you for watching. It is a final. The 33-game win streak against Division II schools is over as OCU, snapping a 6-game losing streak to the Lady Knights, wins tonight in overtime, 72-68. We're going to take a 2-minute break. When we come back, we'll get you set for the second game of our doubleheader between the OCU and KCU men. It's Tuesday Night Hoops, presented by the Circleville Subways here on the OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network.
From Ohio Christian University, it's the Trailblazer Basketball Network. The OCU Trailblazer Basketball Network, brought to you in part by
Domino's Pizza of Circleville, located on Lancaster Pike, 740-477-2541. 740-477-2541.
Circleville Subway is a proud sponsor of the OCU Trailblazers Basketball Network. Subway, eat fresh.
Service Master Clean by Todd George. They will help you get clean and stay that way at work and at home. 740-687-1077. Fairfield Christian Academy has a K-12 program that's committed to molding young minds to have a Christian worldview while providing an education of excellence. Learn more at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.
Thank you for watching the Trailblazer Basketball Network.